layout of the world, the settings, the setting basically is that you are in some Russian island and you are trapped in a couple of different time zones because there's a horrible failed experiment. Basically the same storyline that you played through in Half-Life 2 and just about any other game that is like that you could think of. And anyway, when you are going through these different times, a lot of the textures and stuff that they do, they try to make the two different time zones look different from each other, and then that messes with stuff. Water, most noticeably.
Especially when you are making that transition too, and the white transition goes over everything.
Yeah, when you're switching times,
it looks
and you have
slightly,
like the atomic bomb come at you from.
Not that yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
So, needless to say, that was probably the best attribute of the game, though. Even though it did look a little strange, but I think the graphics were probably the best attribute, albeit not very, good.
Which is good, because that's probably one of the few things that didn't require them having to write new stuff for, because
yeah, exactly.
I really think all that Raven did when they wrote this game is went and waited behind some other studio that wrote a better game, like 2K Games, for instance, and
rated their garbage.
Yeah, pulled rough drafts out of their garbage of old storylines that they had for like BioShock, and then put that in this game. It was terrible.
Yeah. So did it happen to you too? The first 15 minutes? No, I'm sorry. I wish it was the first 15 minutes. The first hour and a half that you're in the game, wondering, number one, why you're still playing the game because it's so god-awfully boring, and number two, why the hell there is freaking audio tracks that are gigantic lying in the middle of nothing.
Seriously.
These audio tracks that they're attempting to mirror other games like Dead Space audio tracks actually make sense. They're small little pieces that look like maybe somebody might have dropped them. There's no way somebody had dropped these audio tracks.
Yeah, if you remember in BioShock, you would find those gigantic tape recorder things all over the place. But at least those would be like obviously left in people's apartments where somebody would have used it like at their house, not like some monster was carrying this thing around for days, and it's a reel-to-reel player that's like 3.5 feet long that weighs as much as the monster does. Why are those even there? And I mean, they try to tell a backstory, but there's much better ways to do that.
Yeah.
Well, does it make more sense?
Actually, most of the time I was listening to the backstory. I was texting friends. It was
really
more entertaining
in that way, didn't it?
Well, I was wondering, and it's the same guy every time, and he has nothing interesting to say. It's stuff you already know. I mean, you come into the island at the beginning. You're coming in on this helicopter, which, by the way, side point, on the reveal trailer, you come in on a frickin' jet.
Yes.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
Like,
you come in on
a
helicopter that crashes for some reason. I don't even remember what frickin' reason.
One of those big nuclear bomb things. Like, it looked like Watchmen, kind of. The big blue orb comes out. And it's like EMP, and it breaks your helicopter.
Oh, yeah. We'll just say it's the Singularity, because it's what the game says everything is attributed to. So, basically, you come in, and you practically know what's going on, because you're already going through the time crunches, and the game's called Singularity, and you look up in the sky, and there's a black hole above you.
Seriously.
The storyline leaves absolutely no room for imagination, because everything is so predictable. And the navigation is so fucking linear that there's no... I mean, even when you get to the point in time where you can jump back and forth through time, because they have these time gates that you can jump through, which I personally believe are a really cool aspect of the game.
If they had been used correctly.
If it would be possible to jump to any different year than what your objective stated you were going.
And to do something like, I guess, tactful with that, something interesting with that. There's a few occasions where you're literally going back in time to get something like a crate to bring it back through time so that you can jump up onto like a staircase or something. That's crazy. That's a waste of time. Yeah. Completely unnecessary.
That depends on if that staircase is the correct one. If it's not, you'll definitely know by the ridiculous amounts of invisible walls that are all around.
Seriously.
So, which also helped with the making it so linear, because you can't do things. There's no secrets in this game. There's 0 secrets.
And as linear as it was, one thing that definitely pissed me off. I mean, just when I thought this shit couldn't get any deeper, it did. There's no map. You have no way to even know where you're going.
You have a TMD,
linear,
you have a time device,
seriously,
but you don't have
stop
a
time,
map.
but you can't see where you're supposed to go. You have like this little chrono ping, they call it, where you can see footsteps that are supposed to go where you're supposed to go.
Dead Space, by the way.
Yeah, lame. No map. Would have taken 10 seconds to make that, and it would have made the game so much better. Because even though there's only one hallway to go down, sometimes you get disoriented in these crazy textures and you don't know where you're going, and then you find out you're where you were a half hour ago.
But you know, it's all right though if you want to hit down on the directional pad every 5 seconds. Like let's fight this guy and hit down again, so I can make the graphics all jacked up on my screen again.
Yeah, and I'm trying to fight a battle, but I need to know where to go, so I'm gonna do that instead of shooting somebody.
Needless to say, it's almost imaginationless.
Yeah, and then moving from the storyline to other things that they stole, the weapons. There was some parts to the weapons that I liked. Some of them were good. What do you like about the weapons?
Well, see, I liked, what was it, the Striker? What is it called?
Seeker.
The Seeker.
Seeker.
That's right. I really enjoyed the Seeker, although it was definitely stolen from several other games.
Yeah, Unreal Tournament was the first one I thought of. The nuke that you could fly around in Unreal Tournament.
Well, I mean, that's been used since Metal Gear Solid, but...
Tons of, I mean, there's tons of games that...
You know, and just so we can side note off of this, we understand that it's probably fairly difficult to come up with a new idea, but you know, as we were talking about before the show, like the thing is that when you're playing this game, you're just trying to find one thing about this game that sets it apart from the others. Unlike when you're playing Dead Space or Half-Life or Halo, when you're finding all these things, it's hard to find things that look like other games. Yeah,
when you're playing through, I mean, the first time that you played through, let's say Halo, you had definitely played other first-person shooters then, but when you're playing through this, your mind is blown by all these new things, and you're not thinking, oh man, this is stolen from like Half-Life or something. You're not thinking any of that. You're thinking, this is new. But when you play through this game, it's the exact opposite.
That's right.
You're thinking, that's stolen from this game, and that's stolen from this game, and that's all. It's just a wave of crap from other games.
Well, including, I mean, if we want to go back to the weapons, when you have to go and you upgrade your weapons, which apparently upgrades are all the same as the other games you had played.
Yeah, but Dead Space, Bioshock, I mean, it is almost screen by screen. It's almost the exact same thing.
The weapon shack thing, whatever it's called, the locker that just automatically opens up when you come over to it, is the exact same thing as Dead Space.
Yeah.
And so, and you were saying Bioshock was the same way.
Ridiculous. Upgrades work the same way at that weapon locker. You know, even the rate at which you upgrade your weapons is the same, but one thing that I actually like better about the other games is, at least with Bioshock and many other games, the upgrades that you had for weapons are individual to those weapons. All sorts of games are like that. Splinter Cell even has upgrades for specific weapons. In this game, though, you have the same 3 upgrades, which is the damage, the size of the clip, and the reload rate. And that's the same for all 7 weapons that you get. Not including, of course, that Seeker gun, which is one of the few cool guns in this game where you get to drive your bullet. That gun, for whatever reason, is like a piece of equipment or something. You only get to use it at certain parts of the game, and then you have to drop it when you run out of ammo, and you are just done with it. You don't get to play with it anymore. So, I mean, the upgrade system really is as if each gun is the exact same gun. You upgrade your shotgun as you would upgrade your sniper rifle, even though, you know, the upgrade should have been something like longer sight distance or something like that. Yeah, so on a shotgun, you know, decreasing spread so it can shoot farther. And as far as that piece of equipment thing, that was explosive bullets, you know? Bullshit. Yeah. I wanted to use that weapon, and then when you go, let's say, you know, you wanted to use a longer ranged piece of equipment, you want to go back to your shotgun, you have to drop the frickin' gun. Exactly. And bring out your shotgun, and then hopefully, you know, it didn't fall down some stairs or something. Yeah, or just flat out disappear, which happened to me on several occasions. I would have it like, I would be right next to a crate or something, shooting over it, and then I would change weapons, and it would go on top of the crate, and it would be there for like 1 second, and then I would like take it out of frame and come back to it, and it's mysteriously vanished, gone forever. And I would go and try and pick it up, it was gone. Yeah. It was ridiculous. Even if I broke the box with the little time warp thing, it still didn't come back. So I'm not sure that I really enjoyed any attribute of this game from 10 minutes into it. I think I enjoyed
The TMD device was okay.
Yeah,
I enjoyed the shotgun and its effect on, like, the ragdoll physics were quite hilarious. I did enjoy those.
They were pretty cool. The only thing that I could say that I liked was also that TMD. There's one ability, which is the deadlock, where you fire an orb basically out onto the ground and time freezes inside of it. And that was pretty cool because you would have, like, monsters that are really, really fast and warping all over the place, and you could catch them in time. And when you're in there, even if people are trying to shoot bullets at you, once they hit that orb, they slow way down and you can see them coming at you. So that was cool. And if you had gotten that ability in the opening sequences of the game and they really built the entire game around that, that was the new thing. That's the only thing that was new in this game. And if they had capitalized on that, I think they could have made a much better game. One that I certainly would have enjoyed more anyway.
Oh, definitely. If they had more options, we had some better navigation and definitely a more deep storyline. It had no connection to any of the characters. There was no character development. I mean, it was just a dry heave. That's how I describe it. This game was a complete dry heave.
Any other game, you get so into it, you at least know what your character's name is. I have no idea what this guy's name is. I don't really care what his name is either.
Speaking of perplexing thoughts, why the hell is my melee gone after I get the TMD?
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
So my melee turns into a force push. So yeah. I go up to melee somebody and hopefully have some hand-to-hand combat because I enjoy that type of play.
Seriously.
No, I go up and I blow like 4 limbs off some dude, which is cool till you find out that you can only use it twice before it's gone. So I have no melee and it's gone twice.
Yeah, your whole little bar is gone. And it's stupid too because at the start of the game they really build your guy up to be like he is the ultimate badass. He's coming in on this helicopter. He's got his cool little special ops guy with him, and in the start of the game you run up and you are knocking people out with that
Modern
knife.
Warfare 2, anyone?
Totally. It's exactly like Modern Warfare 2. When you stab people, they're out. And that was fun, and then it's gone, and then you are a Jedi. All of a sudden, you have force push ability.
I mean, what do you think? I'm thinking I would not even rent this. I'm actually sad that I rented it.
Yeah,
you purchased it.
I am sad I bought it, but what are you gonna do?
So, we're hoping to see some better releases as the year goes on. I mean, we're looking at what? We're looking at Halo Reach
coming out pretty soon. We still got Fallout is the one I'm really, really looking forward to.
So definitely, and let's see. Next show we're going to be talking about the downloadable content. We're also going to be talking about what we believe was the best release of July.
We're going to have to put some thought into that one. That is going to be a week-long process for me. We're going to have to do some brainstorming. So be sure to join us next week at the same time at the Gamer Talks. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Good night.